Well, good morning, guys. The pump on my sprayer took a crap. This is my old sprayer. The new sprayer, it was working fine. I pulled it up, went to do some rinsing out to get the 28% out. And I noticed oil dripping here. And then there's a pressure gauge, and it was not moving anything. You could see it would circulate a little bit of fluid of 28% in agitation, but I'm like, what the heck? Well, the bolt had broke, and instantly this motor would get hot, and heat tells us a high pressure leak on hydraulic stuff. And I'm like, what the shooting dang fertile thing, Well, then I saw that bolt broke and a leak. So then the oil is just simply bypassing the motoring components, if it's a little gear motor or whatever, whatever the motor design is, for each situation. So it's just simply bypassing and going right out the return instead of making the motor do what it needed to do. So I'll just come and grab this motor. It is the exact same pump, the 100 gallon a minute, the big Hi-Pro pump. It is a 15-minute swap. I mean, you just unbolt it, 2 bolts, and then these 4 bolts, this pulls off, this housing stays with each sprayer, and we're good to go. So I'll just give you an example, and I can just go, you see, like that, and then I just do that. I can do it once here too, and this time I'll leave the bolt in, you see. And then this one I'll take the bolt out, and I'll put the bolt up here, and this one let's leave it in. So we leave that bolt in, and then I can take these 2 bolts by hand, you see. It's kind of an interesting concept with threaded bolts, how you can do that. And then this just wiggles apart. That just wiggles apart. And there's your impeller. And there's old crud. But yeah, there's your impeller. We just make sure that O-ring on the housing there is in good shape. And we'll give him a little rinse off. And we'll go put it on the new sprayer. All right. So I managed to survive the walk up here. It was pretty tough. It's like 58 degrees. Just not a great environment for man to just be walking around. But yeah, I just set him there, and then just kind of slide it together. Kind of having a hard time with only one hand. Takes you back to high school. Just one hand to get you through a lot of stuff. That's I don't know. That could be offensive, I guess. I'm sorry. But I put them bolts in, and then I put this bolt in. And I lift the hoses back up. I put that in, and that works good. That works good. With these flange housings, when they come together like that, I always like to make sure that they're mated good before I get carried away with the impact gun, because you don't want to roll an edge. Or these thin cast housings, you can crack them super easy, but you don't want to mar the rolled edge, because then it sometimes has a tough spot to seal. And I left my wrench way over here. I'm just not very organized this morning, guys. I'm sorry. It just click click. Click, click. That's my torque wrench. Click, click. And then I'll double check by hand, you know. Yep. 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 One last one. Yep. Well, I'll just put the bottom bolts in and we'll fire it up and see. And silly, I got all the drop hoses off, got all my nozzles back for herbicide spray, and the pump's on. I just need to dump in my chemical, dump in my water treatment, and then fold the boom up so I can drive forward to fill. I got the clean water is already up in the trailer on the front shuttles. It's kind of important on this 28% to have the sprayer good and clean. So I took the 25-gallon rinse tank and pushed it through the boom with no agitation. So it could only go to boom just to get that flushed out good. That little tiny, the alfalfa still has a lot that's just emerging. Alfalfa is just a super slow thing. But with the 28% left in the tank here, there's enough here that 28% will really burn. So I just used my water shuttles. I rinsed them out and whatnot. So they should be clean water, and I'll use that because that 28% could actually kill the young seedlings, even though it is fertilizer. It just literally burn the plant, burn the leaves, and then the plant can't obviously photosynthesize. So yeah, I had to make sure I did a good job rinsing the sprayer out. But let's get folded up and brought up here so we can get going. So we fold. I do not regret this purchase one bit. I do not like debt. I am trying my best to pay my bills, but this is one bill I will really, I guess if I have to go to town and work for a couple of weeks to make this annual payment, I guess I really will. This thing has been an absolute lifesaver for me. Oh my gosh. There we go. Well, let's spin around. Spin around so we can... Oh. I think I can just pull ahead. Pull ahead. I should have enough hose. I should have enough hose to reach. Shut him off. Shut him off. Hose is on, switch on, choke on, choke off, just let him idle. Such a quiet morning. I don't want to make any noise. And we watch the water go down. Glug, glug, glug. So then I go grab my case of Volunteer here. Got a case of, I got a jug of Volunteer. And then a Bronc Max, my water conditioner. So that's the surfactant and pH thing and anti-foamer and all that stuff. It's supposed to help make the water work better, help our chemicals work better on the crops. So I use a quart. I'm using 8 ounces per acre of the Volunteer. Well, it turns out. And then with the Broncs, I use a quart per 100. So I need 1.5 gallons of Broncs per 100 gallons, not 100 acres. Well, that's dripping a little water there. I need new gaskets on the 2-inch hose. Doing this the old-fashioned way. Everybody's scared to spray alfalfa, and I guess I am too, because at this point it's such a tiny little plant, or a lot of it is barely even germinating. So if there is a little bit of a ding from herbicide, you know, just because the herbicide is made for that plant doesn't mean it doesn't stress it or ding it a little bit. But at the end of the day, alfalfa is just a weird soybean plant. You know, they're both a broadleaf legume. And so that adds me a lot of faith. In fact, the Volunteer product is what you use to kill Volunteer corn in a soybean stand. It's a great generic to DuPont's, I believe that would be a DuPont Assure. The DuPont Assure is a fantastic product. Like all of DuPont products are. They are a fantastic product. You can't say anything bad about them as far as doing their job. But DuPont's a little proud of their product when it comes to pricing. And so then that is the one bad thing you can say. But yeah. Well, we're almost to 300 gallons. So that first tote, yep, he's getting almost empty. I'll have to jump hose. I need about 600 gallons or so. So I'll switch totes here in a second. From the ground here, while I'm filling the main tank, I can just open this front valve here and start filling the little rinse tank, and I just shut this. It fills that tank so fast. You can hear the air whistling out of the top. That's why I keep the pump at an idle. There's no need to get super carried away. That'll give me enough rinse water. And then I open back up to the main tank. And then we shut this guy off. And we're going to want to open up agitation. So when we start our pump up, that's our relief for the pump. If that is shut off, there's nowhere for fluid to go, so then the pump stalls out. It sits there spinning and heating liquid, and then you're just holding massive pressure. You know, you're getting 100 or 150 pounds of pressure just sitting in this manifold system that you don't need. We're at 400. We're almost there. I better hook up my hose. We're almost there. I have almost 1,000 acres under this guy this year. That is fantastic. It worked flawlessly. It runs super smooth. big tire kit. It is just a great sprayer. I love the eye wash and safety station because it keeps me clean, and I can wash my nozzles with it. I got the rinse tank so I can easily clean the plumbing, the boom, from tank to tank without having to have the tank empty. While it's filling the tank right now, if I really wanted to, I could be purging the boom or rinsing the boom if I really wanted to. But yeah, I mean, it has worked fantastic. I am so happy that I did this. Everything I do nowadays I'm so scared of because you never know what's going to happen or blah blah blah. What about the markets? What about the weather and this or that? But it's like, you know, I guess this winter if I have to go work in town for a couple weeks to make the payment on it, then that's what I do because it is so awesome. Next year I'd like to expand its use even more and figure out, like right behind the corn planter on the fields that we're still doing herbicide program on, is I was talking to a few people that some of the old timers used to run 28% all the time, and some guys still do with their herbicide. Then they don't need you don't need to buy the water treatments and all that kind of stuff. You just put your herbicide in with the 28%, and then on corn ground, because like corn we run a one pass herbicide program. Well, at that same time we would have them first few N credits out there, so that would be super cool. Even if you spiked it half with water, you know, so you only ended up with 20. If you did 7 gallons of 28%, you'd be just right around that 21, 22 N credits. That way when that corn comes out of the ground, there's some N credits right there for you, and they're good to go. I think that would be just awesome. So the Y drops, I'm definitely doing the drop hoses again. I gotta keep that going because that was so nice. There were spots. Idle him down, let that turbo cool off. There was what I really loved on it was when I doubled back. When you had you're going down the field and you see right here is a bad spot of corn. So when you turn around, you double back over and just shut that section on and off, like in that one video, to hit that bad spot with a little extra shot. And now them are the good spots in the field. But yeah, no, it's been a fantastic sprayer. I think after today I'll get it pressure washed off and greased up and kind of get it ready for winter storage. I don't know, just in case aphids come. I probably won't antifreeze it yet. I love pumping water because it's clean and it's safe. I don't have to worry about my personal safety. So, enough yammering. Let's get to the field. And we're spraying. With in lieu of all the rain, I would rather not try and go through the swale, but I can boom out over it and not worry too much about it. I don't know. I don't see that I'm making too terrible of a rut. So, but it needs to be done, so I gotta do it. That end nozzle, it's a little not so smooth. So we might have to go investigate that. So you can see that crabgrass and quackgrass underneath, they just smother everything. So we'll give it a week, let that grass die down and turn yellow, and then if the broadleaves keep coming out here, There was a spot with some nasty looking, like has the potential of water hemp, that I might have to just mow the field, set the windrow extremely wide, just mow the field and let the windrow kind of lay, or set the windrow narrow and come out with the field chopper and blow it back on the field. But I think if a guy lets it lay real wide, it will just kind of disintegrate. Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed how fast a lot of these weeds have come through. Well, it's rock picking time. Got the hayfield sprayed. While I sprayed the hayfield, I'd see some rocks like this. So I grabbed the four-wheeler and just up and down and up and down and up and down, up and down. And we're getting it picked. So I got a cart so far and just got a few more laps to go, and I think we've got her picked pretty good. I don't know, the yellow that you see is Yellow Rocket. It is a brassica. It looks like a brassica. It smells like a brassica. It just makes a little bit of a taproot. This one looks like it's dying. But the alfalfa is coming underneath it very nicely. So it makes the field look like crap, but I don't think it's that bad. I think it's doing okay. I forget how slow alfalfa is to germinate. It is a bugger. I put this hayfield in, one for myself, to always keep a couple bales of hay on hand for just in case if we're gonna have cattle. And then there was a lot of, we had some dairy still in the area. Oh, now here this summer, eight dairies around me are leaving. There'll literally be one, maybe two off the top of my head that will be within a reasonable distance. That's very sad, very, very sad. So this alfalfa field is going to be, I guess, switch it over to small squares like I was saying, and it'll be 100% for me, I guess. I'll just next year I'll just do the whole thing between big squares and small squares, and just try and sell it at the auction to horse people for big bucks. I don't know. This will be great to strip till into in a couple years. But anyhow, I'll get back to picking rock if the Polaris will start up again, and then get to the yard.